The secret meeting with Dr. Wu. Late at night, deep within InGen's restricted research facility, Dr. Henry Wu sat at his desk, calmly sipping his tea. The sterile lab around him was bathed in cool, artificial light, filled with unfinished genetic models, holographic readouts of complex DNA sequences, and research that had never been fully disclosed to Misrani Global. The door hissed open. Vic Hoskins stepped inside, closing it behind him with deliberate care. He glanced around the lab, his sharp eyes scanning the holographic projections hovering in mid-air. DNA sequences, cross-species grafting algorithms, and incomplete genetic profiles. Wu didn't even look up. If you're here to tell me Misrani shut down hybrid development, I already know. Hoskins smirked. And what do you think about that? Wu finally set his tea down, folding his hands in front of him. I think Misrani is short-sighted. Hoskins stepped closer. You and I both know this isn't over. Wu exhaled through his nose, shaking his head slightly. No, it isn't. Not if we continue our work the right way. He gestured toward one of the floating DNA displays. I assume you're here about the Indominus. Hoskins nodded, crossing his arms. I need to know everything about it. What exactly did you put in that thing? Wu smirked slightly, standing from his chair and pacing toward one of the illuminated panels. With a simple gesture, he expanded the holographic genome sequence of Indominus Rex, the complex strands of its genetic code rotating before them. The base genome is Tyrannosaurus Rex. As requested, Wu began, his voice steady. But to achieve the desired results, I had to make modifications. Many modifications. He swiped his hand across the display, bringing up additional genetic contributors. Cuttlefish, tree frog. Then, with a final motion, he highlighted a specific section of the code, one labeled Velociraptor. Hoskins' expression darkened. Raptor DNA? You put raptor in that thing. Wu turned to him, tilting his head slightly. I needed an intelligent predator. One that could strategize and problem-solve. Velociraptors provided that enhancement. Hoskins ran a hand over his jaw, piecing together what this meant. That explains the way it was looking at Owen. The damn thing thinks like a raptor. Wu nodded, satisfied. And it worked. The Indominus is unlike anything the world has ever seen. A true predator, one that can outthink its prey. Hoskins let out a low chuckle. And Misrani has no clue. Wu's expression grew sharper. Misrani is a businessman, not a scientist. He doesn't understand the level of work required to create something like this. He paused, then turned back to another holographic projection, displaying an unfinished genetic design, a hulking dinosaur with the features of Stegosaurus and Triceratops combined. Hoskins raised an eyebrow. What the hell am I looking at? Wu's lips curled into a faint smirk. A Stegoceratops. A project I was working on before Misrani decided to halt hybrid production. Hoskins let out an amused scoff. You're telling me you were making a spiky tank with horns? Wu nodded, intended for display. Unlike the Indominus, it wasn't meant to be a carnivorous predator. But Misrani's restrictions are limiting. Hoskins paced for a moment, then turned back to Wu. Let's get one thing straight. I want to keep moving forward, but I need to know that we're on the same page. Wu narrowed his eyes. That depends. Moving forward in what direction exactly? Hoskins stepped closer, lowering his voice. You keep your research going, quietly. But if we do this, I need your absolute loyalty. Wu straightened, his expression hardening. Understand something, Mr. Hoskins. This is my work, my legacy. Whatever comes next, my name will be attached to it. I want full credit. But if Misrani finds out, Hoskins raised a hand in reassurance. I promise you, Wu, you'll be under my protection. Misrani won't know a damn thing. Wu studied him carefully, then gave a slow nod. Then we have an understanding. Hoskins grinned. Good. Now, I want to bring someone else in on this. Someone outside of InGen. Outside of Misrani Global. Wu frowned. Who? Hoskins leaned in slightly. Eli Mills. Wu's expression remained unreadable. And why will we need him? Hoskins smirked. Because when the time comes, we're going to need funding and connections that Misrani can't trace. Mills has the kind of resources we need. And he's ambitious, like us. We'll consider this for a moment before finally nodding. Fine, but be careful, Hoskins. If this fails, I won't take the fall. Hoskins chuckled. Don't worry, Doctor. When this is over, we'll both be untouchable. And with that, the next stage of genetic experimentation had begun, one that would eventually lead to something far more dangerous than either of them could predict.